Good morning, personal finance students. Here we are. We're at the beginning of Module 4, Week 4 of the class. I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing this week. We do have one assignment type that you have not seen before, so I want to talk a little bit about that. And I also want to introduce you to a very important resource for you that you may have not used before, and it's definitely something worth looking at. So stay tuned. We'll do the second half of the video. We'll be talking about smart thinking. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about what we're doing this week, and we'll jump into the module, Module 4. Again, our normal quizzes that we have after every reading or presentation or external reading. When we have those PDF printouts, we usually have a quiz attached to that. This week we have parts 9, 10, and 11. So we have 3 quizzes attached to that. That's all pretty normal. You're doing really great with those quizzes. Good job on that. Some of the strongest quiz performance I've seen. And they're not too difficult as long as you do the reading and kind of have an idea of where the answers are. If you don't know where the answers are, and the quizzes can vary in length too. So, right around 10 questions. So they're not meant to be burdensome, but really to check your progress on the reading material, on the lecture material that you had in that particular part. All right, so enough of that. You're really doing a really great job with the quizzes. But let's take a look at the assignment that you haven't had before, and that's a progress journal. And a progress journal is really a great way for us to kind of connect at some points in the course. In some of my courses, I run progress journals 3 times. With this course being a little shorter, we're only going to have a couple of progress journals, but here is the first one. And what you're going to do is, in a Word document, in approximately a paragraph, you're going to address these questions on however you want to address them. And you can also talk about anything else you want if you wish. But if you really could kind of at least address these areas at a minimum, that would help me out and really gauge where I think I'm at with the course. And if I'm doing something wrong or we needed to change something, it's one more mechanism for us to communicate. So here, some of the questions: how do you feel you're doing in the course up to this point? How would you grade yourself? What additional topics would you like to see or maybe circle back on? That hopefully in the next, we only have a couple modules left, but if there's something that you need or really curious about and I can get enough interest on it, we can maybe develop something before our time is over. So I would love to hear about that. And then so far, I really want to know, like in the course, what's been the most beneficial and least beneficial? What's worked and what hasn't? What's something maybe I should get rid of in the future or expand upon? So I really value your feedback in those areas. So if you could do, again, at least stick to those essential questions, that helps me. But if you want to talk about anything else, that's what the progress journals are for. So that's kind of our new unique assignment for this week. All right, that covers the course here. You guys are doing a great job, progressing really well. Some of you are taking me up on the offer to go at a faster pace, and some folks are nearly done or probably will be done with the course by the end of this week. But remember, if there's any assignments as you're going through, if you are one of these people that are just pushing right through and going to finish it early, if there are any assignments that require any like peer responses or anything that you need to circle back on, just make sure you circle back on that as the rest of the group, because the most of the group is going through at the normal pace, which is perfectly fine. But make sure you circle back on those assignments if a follow-up is needed. Okay, so enough of that. Let's talk a little bit about smart thinking. Smart thinking is a wonderful resource that if you haven't dabbled in it yet, I would recommend that you at least know what's there and know what's there before you need it. So I'm going to jump over here to our modules. You probably have seen this a million times. I'll remove my picture here. You've probably seen this because we load it into every Canvas course at the top. Smart Thinking Online Tutoring. But have you actually played with it? Have you gone in there and seen what they have to offer? And there is a little bit of a course tie-in here. Now, for this particular course, you're not doing any writing assignments, and you're not, there's no heavy mathematics. Things that probably don't require a tutor are in this course. So you probably aren't going to be using Smart Thinking for this course, but there may be many other courses that you're going through Mercy College, and Smart Thinking may be a great resource for you to use. So let's just take a quick test drive. Let's jump in there and see what we've got. Of course, I've already been in there before. I kind of know what we've got. It has a little browser test there in the beginning. I'm going to log on as a student, so you can see the menu of various options that are available for you. All right, so I would really break this down. There's one area that most students use heavily, that do use Smart Thinking, and that is the Writing Center. So you have a great Writing Center here where you could submit an assignment. A tutor will be assigned to it. You can interact with that tutor in various ways. Most students interact with that tutor through email, but you could even have live synchronous tutoring sessions if you wish, kind of through somewhat like a Skype whiteboard type of activity that will load onto your computer. Most students use the email function where they will submit something, get some responses back, and be able to take that guidance to make that paper even better. Keep in mind that's a process and does take some time, so don't think that you can submit something and then your paper's due the next day and have everything back. Now, I will say with Smart Thinking, though, they are phenomenally fast. I think they have like a 24-hour guarantee pretty much on turnaround. But keep that in mind. Give yourself a little bit of buffer when you're working with a Smart Thinking tutor, that knowing that it may be a day before you get a full 24 hours before you get that back, and you're going to have to make your corrections. So plan ahead a little bit. If you're going to use it, plan ahead. It's again a great thing to do, especially a second pair of eyes on a major assignment, a major writing assignment. Let's jump in here and take a look at some of the tutoring areas, so you can get an idea of what they have. Math, science, Spanish. We don't have Spanish classes here at the college. Nursing. Okay, for those of you that are in the nursing program, did you know there's an online nursing tutor area, and there's like a whole bunch of subcategories within there? Something for you to look at. Of course, the Writing Center. Business, a lot of the classes I teach are business oriented, so there's a whole category of business. Computers and technology. This is kind of neat in that it can it's not necessarily, it can be class related, but let's say you're having a difficult time making something happen in, let's see, got these pop-ups here, but with PowerPoint. And you want to, I really need this cool transition to work. You have an online tutor for all of these Microsoft Office applications, and wow, even Adobe Photoshop if you really, are doing some serious photoshopping and you need some assistance. But some great areas there as well. And then the other one, which I think ties into this course, we're not going to require you to do anything here, but is career writing and interviewing. So there's a complete interviewing and career writing resume service on here for you to use, which I think is really cool. Now, the college, we do have a director of career services. She will look through your CV, your resume, which I highly recommend that you do. Please have either Smart Thinking or our director of career services look at your CV and your resume before you go out for those serious jobs. I've seen so many poorly written CVs. I've seen CVs, resumes, same thing. I've seen, in academics we call them CVs, and in healthcare they're typically called CVs as well. I've seen some well-intended resumes, creative and pictures and graphics, but that's not what we use. You got to stick to the format of the industry to which you're applying. And those ones that you think, I'm going to stick out. Sometimes you got to be careful about how you're going to stick out, stand out. Sometimes you don't want to, wow, look, it's on purple paper and it's got pictures and stuff. No. In higher ed, that one is going to go in a certain category. The non-select category, okay? Even though I could tell that sometimes an applicant can think it's the best intended resume or CV, it may miss the mark and miss the mark dramatically. So you want to put everything in your favor, put all the odds in your favor in getting a job and getting that next opportunity. And, it's not necessarily going to be the miracle thing, having a perfectly crafted CV. It's not going to be the silver bullet that gets you a job, but it can be the thing that prevents you from getting a job. So it's very, very important, to have all of these things, and even the resume or even the interviewing skills, having those practiced over and over is really essential. I mean, it's, you're given a small window of time, maybe a few hours with interacting with a hiring individual or a group of peers who may be putting input into hiring you, and being able to build rapport and to answer questions concisely, to be able to understand really what they're asking for, and have your stories and your kind of your answers somewhat pre-crafted before you going in, but not seeing too pre-crafted. Yes, there's a little theater involved, but guess what? They're all doing it, and all the top players are doing that. How do you project the best version of yourself in a very stressful situation? Interviewing is stressful. Again, there's no magic bullet, but what I think helps is practice. And what I think helps is working with a career coach too, and practicing some of those interviewing skills. All right, so enough of that. So again, Smart Thinking, a lot of great things, a lot of great resources in there for you to use. Jump in there, play around, know what's there before you need it. Okay? Last thing you want to do is to be struggling, geez, it's Thursday, papers due Sunday, I need some writing help. No. Have it already planned out. Know that, okay, on Wednesday, I know about Smart Thinking. I know about how to interact with the tutor. I'm going to do that on Wednesday. I'm going to get my paper back no later than, Friday morning, make my final edits, boom, and be done. So just knowing how to use it before you need it. You may even want to, with the Writing Center, submit sort of a low consequence assignment. One that you just so you get an idea about how the system works before you need it for that high consequence assignment. All right. Well, that concludes our little review for this week and talking about what we're going to be doing in Module 4 and Smart Thinking. Everybody have a fantastic week, and I'll check in with you next week. Thanks.